Hello. Got me by surprise. Either way, here we are ready to roll. My name is F. That guy's Ryan, and we're going to bring you XL versus Excellence.
Excellence. You know, it's gonna be. This is the big game. I mean, these two teams sound similar, but they aren't. They're two separate squads, and whoever wins this is gonna be coming here to Atlanta in just next weekend. I mean, it's very, very soon.
Yeah, like we said, this is the Gauntlet, so we got to see some of the challenger action there. McDeezy's came out and they did what they did. They won game number 1, which was fun. So there was a little bit of competition.
Was that today?
That one went all the way to 3 games.
Is that today? Dude, that was so long ago. That game was insane. I mean,
the set was long. Like I said, there was a little bit of competition earlier on. Obviously, game number 3, different story. But we're going to roll into this one. Like we said, these are the two SPL teams, the two bottom teams, XL and Excellence. They'll be going head-to-head right here, trying to find themselves at LAN.
I mean, so Excel, formerly known as Barrage and then to Retribution, they came here to Atlanta. They were the top seed during the summer split. They looked really, really good. They make some changes in between the summer and fall splits. They stopped looking quite as good, have changed around the roster a little bit. You know, Jeron was the ADC. Last we saw him, he was in the jungle. You know, we saw Welshbeastq on that squad, if I'm correct. Yep. So with Welshbeastq leaving, I wonder if that puts Jeron back in ADC. We're gonna have to wait and see what Excel want to do up against Excellence.
We'll certainly take a look at that. Bans coming out. You know, last time we kept seeing this Hades ban specifically. I don't know if we'll see anything like that.
There is no one who has a good enough Hades in the world to warrant leaving Terra open. It's never worth it.
But we'll see how this, there it is, starting off this one hot. Terra panned right away, one of the more powerful characters in the game, so she'll be swapped out. XL have the option at the moment.
Yeah, we saw Terra solo actually in that first game of the first set here. Instead, it's going to be banned away right away. Athena for Excel, and then Freya taking shots at the Hunter for Excel.
So far, I really like these bans, just catch-all bans in general, but also specifically knowing where the power lies on either side. Jingwei certainly going to be nasty in the hands of Welshbeastq, so that's going to be banned away. And the Erlang Shen first pick, no surprise there. The man plays 3, maybe 4 positions if you want to be swanky, and he's just too damn good.
Is that Erlang mid or Erlang Hunter?
Erlang mid, baby.
Yeah?
Erlang mid, baby.
This is coming from the guy who likes chalk mid, though.
Chalk mid, baby.
Yeah.
But you need that.
Erlang plays 3 roles, but he plays them all really, really well.
Yeah, 4 if you want to be swanky.
But I don't. So he plays 3 roles, but he plays all 3 very, very well.
Odin, another character that's going to be fantastic. He's very powerful in the early to mid game. He deals with healing particularly well. He plays 3 positions very well, 4 if you want to get swanky.
He plays 3 positions, and they're all pretty good. Not as good as Erlang Shen.
Nowhere near as good as Erlang Shen.
But he does really well up against Erlang Shen, and that's the reason for the pick here. Whenever you cage in Erlang, he's got nowhere to go. That heal that he gets off his ultimate, completely negated basically. So here, that's why you see the Odin pick. It also kind of dissuades the Guan Yu pick for Excellence. So we really didn't see any Guan Yu during that last set, if I remember correctly. So we're going to have to wait and see if Excellence wants to select any more healing. I'm going to guess they do not up against that Odin cage. Fafnir and Raijin, 2 characters that can get out of Odin cage easily and are also very strong in the meta.
The Hun Batz is going to go alongside the rest of XL's grouping so far. I like what XL has brought. They've got the Odin to deal with the Erlang, and they've dissuaded some of the other picks, like you said. The Zeus is old school strategy, going with Odin, going to put a ring on top of a ring. And then the Hun Batz, after the ring goes down, you're still going to have something left, and the totem will be able to help that out.
Yeah, Elexum for XL, the mid laner there, really loves to play Zeus. It's one of his gods that he's most comfortable on. So no surprise, they usually pick it up early, and you can see right away they do so here.
So second round of bans coming out here. As much as I like Excel's draft, I also like the way that Excellence has responded to it. And at the moment, we're only halfway through the draft. I actually am leaning towards the side of Excellence. I think they have a little bit more power in their pocket.
I mean, 50-meter fly is very comfortable on this Raijin. It's what you kind of know him for if you've been watching a lot of his EU SCL. You also know him for building Book of Thoth before his boots on Raijin, which he seems to have
about that.
Dude, it tilts me. It really does. But he didn't do it so far today, so hopefully I don't jinx anything. He was looking a little bit more traditional with the builds, which I'm appreciative of.
The Wheelish ban comes out, and this is basically specifically looking at Odin. Odin has really one way of getting in and starting problems, and that's jumping in, and the Wheelish can sort of yank him out of the sky, similar to the way she deals with a Bacchus. So a Wheelish is going to be banned out right there, next to the Kronos and the Shibalanke. Excellence is certainly looking at the Hunter position, and Excel will go ahead and select the Sobek.
I really like the Wheelish bans, like you mentioned. It completely negates the engage that Odin has. Plus, you've already got the knockups from Erlang Shen. It makes it really easy to camp that solo lane. If you're putting Erlang in this solo, you can just turtle him up into the air and then drag him back down with the gravity surge. Sobek tells me that Excel want to go for a much tankier sort of protect lineup for this Zeus, which I really like the idea of.
Ratatoskr, the mobile jungler, will be selected for excellence. And then the hi-rez, a character that is, he's had some changes, which is why we haven't seen him as popular in either the SCL or the SPL. But at the same time, I think he does retain some positive properties.
He does, and one of them is Dive Bomb that gets you out of Odin Cage. I think that's the idea behind that selection. You do have a couple other hunters that would have been on the table if you were really looking for jumps, Anhur being one of them. You could have also gone the way of Neath if you wanted to, but hi-rez going to try and dissuade any aggression in that Odin Cage, drop the Suns, and try and zone out the rest of Excel.
So excellence, they've got a decent lineup here. Ratatoskr and hi-rez, some of the more spicy picks, I would say. And I'm looking specifically towards that hi-rez. Can the Anhur handle the hi-rez, you think? Because that's really the big question here.
So Jeron back in the ADC role. This is a guy who played ADC on the EU side of the console league for a long time, going back to season 2. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to look comfortable there. We'll have to see how well he comes back into the ADC role after being in the jungle for a little bit. Auzrik, who was on Cyclone, I believe, for a while, has moved over to this Excel roster.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, I like it overall.
I've always liked Auzrik. I think he's a dynamic player, a character that can come into a match and really sort of change the way that the outcome will end up single-handedly. So we'll see if that's the type of impact he's able to make for Excel. And on the Hun Batz, that's one of his go-to characters, so I'm pretty happy about that selection overall.
Yeah, the overall draft here from Excel, I think, is really strong. As long as they can protect Elexum, that's the big if. You get some good early game pressure from the Anhur in the duo lane. Sobek going to make things difficult for Excellence to really walk around and do what they want. Always have to be afraid of that repositioning through the pluck. And then the Odin as well puts a lot of early pressure onto the side of Excellence. So as long as, again, it's all protect Zeus. That's the game plan.
Exactly. As long as Elexum can get to the late game, basically you'll see the idea for Excel here is for Jeron to really handle himself in lane in the early game, maybe even get off to a hot start. Auzrik is really more of a defensive jungler here. He's not looking to make these hot ganks and get off to a nice first blood or whatnot. His job is to, wherever Farleez goes on this highly mobile Ratatoskr, Auzrik wants to follow up suit and make sure that things don't go too terribly bad there. From there, Mango Man's going to rotate around the mid game and start to make things happen with that cage and Elexum. And then when the late game comes, you just have Zeus sort of lightning bolt everybody down. That's the game plan for XL.
Elexum almost has to bait himself in these team fights because the counter engage on XL is nuts. I mean, Fear No Evil, lurking in the waters, the cage, dropping the lightning storm, you can really turn a fight quickly with abilities like that, the ones that have a big impact in the team fight. So if Elexum's able to bait himself well, use his defensive relics to keep himself alive for a little bit longer than he really should be alive, it could really be a boon for XL.
I want to see XL here, the red team, just abuse this duo lane. Sobek Anhur can be one of the more oppressive duo lanes in the entire game, and especially when you're up against a hi-rez who doesn't exactly clear the wave as easily as some of the other characters, it can really be abused. You can start to zone very early in the game by just threatening the Sobek pluck, or you could go all in and actually go for the Sobek pluck. Right now, they're opting to just sort of play the lane as is, but I really want to see XL just be really aggressive.
Tons of kill potential in that lane, like you mentioned, and even if they were able to out-clear them for excellence, you can't really stand on the tower line up against Sobek Anhur because you'll get plucked and then impaled farther and back into the tower. So even if they did have the advantage in clear, they wouldn't be able to play it as they did. You can see that it is Excel who are pushing a little bit better. Like you mentioned, hi-rez clear. Not exactly great in the early game with that ricochet. If you want to clear effectively with hi-rez, you almost have to stand off to the side and then bounce it off that beach wall that you see on the left there to hit the archers with the ricochet if you only want to use one. But as you can see, you can't really do that because you'll spend too much time lining up. You'll get plucked in by Sobek and then just die.
Exactly, so got to be careful. Here's the rotation on the left-hand side. 3 players join up in the solo lane, and Erlang Shen's going to get locked down. Farleez shows up. First blood goes to Excellence, and Auzrik able to answer back. Excel starts the party, but Excellence party a little bit harder, and the first blood goes the way of the blue team.
So I was talking about Excel being the ones to use the counter engage, but that time it's Farleez Farleez coming crashing down from the ultimate. Mango Man just way late on that cage. I don't know if he didn't have enough mana and needed a little bit more mana regen in order to pop it down. Elexum pulled the trigger a little bit early on the Lightning Storm as well, which allowed Predators to survive long enough for Farleez to get that first blood bounty onto Mango Man.
Exactly. So good idea coming out from Excel, but not executed absolutely perfectly. And because of that, Excellence able to snatch first blood away. And that's pretty much the entire difference between our teams. Just a 500 gold bounty for the first blood. So Excellence off to a little bit of a start. And Excel trying to get testy over here, looking for the invade on the red buff. As we said, the Sobek Anhur, very, very dangerous. So they want to go ahead and protect their own buff. Excellence gets a little testy.
Predators is actually forcing Excel to reset the speed. The teams are splitting up the two buffs, and Predators is just watching and making them waste a ton of time farming. Yes, he lost a couple creeps over in this solo lane. In fact, he only lost one, and he wasted a ton of time for Excel. They were a little bit too scared to try and secure that buff with the Erlang Shen there. No Wrath available, just scared of the long-range pin damage when he was really by himself.
Right side Harpy's going to go to Excel as well. Raijin and Ratatoskr chased out just a little bit. And Ratatoskr are going to chase in, looking for the gank on the right-hand side. Can't find the, there it is. And he's going to jump right on top of the tower, a little bit overshooting the target. Odin drops the ring, and that'd be that.
That's it. I mean, they can't do it. The synergy not quite there between Predators and Farleez.
Yep.
Farleez moving to the jungle from the Hunter role, like was mentioned in the cast for the last set. Just doesn't have that synergy with the solo laner quite yet, it seems. The taunt pulled Odin out of the way, but it was a good thing that he did, because if Farleez goes that deep where he thought Odin would be and he drops the cage, that cage probably cuts off the tower line and he's got nowhere to go, and Mango Man can turn it around for a couple of kills, if not only one. So a little bit lucky that the synergy wasn't quite there, but it still drops the kill.
Auzrik coming over to the right side, trying to stop the back. Not going to happen, however, so Predators will head back to base. His teleport's on cooldown, just like Odin's. In fact, they're almost identically on cooldown, so both solo laners will hoof it back to their lane.
You see Erlang going for the Ninja Tabi, whereas Mango Man on this Odin going for the Warrior Tabi. Standard to see Erlang go for the attack speed boots, wants to boost up use of that passive that he gets a percentage of his damage done again on each auto attack from that little doge you see there alongside him. Odin wants to go the Warrior Tabi to try and one-shot you with the Bird Bomb combination in the early game, and it looks like Predators is actually building into what might be a Witchblade, but Odin really doesn't do a whole lot of auto attacking. This is just for later in the game against Batz and Anhur.
There's the ring, and Batz going to drop the totem as well. Solo laner pushed off to the wall. Half HP on the Erlang Shen. Ring comes down, and so does Predators. Late rotation out of Farleez, but very low is Auzrik. Ratatoskr might be able to clean this one up. Not quite, and he's forced into the ultimate.
He's going for Auzrik, I think, comes crashing down and is going to find him. Farleez trying to get out the backside of the tower. All the while, it's going to be Excel who steal away the Gold Fury.
Well done. Excel go ahead and realize that there's a lot of pressure on the right side of the map. Predators falls down, Farleez falls down for Excellence. So Excel, they realize that Excellence starting it up, snatch it away. And with the objective, Excel find themselves up 1,000 gold early on.
Farleez does fall there, by the way, to Mango Man, as he was able to trade out those kills. Overall, it was pretty even, except for the fact that Gold Fury goes the way of Excel. I like the full commit. It was close. So we saw the Raijin ultimate come in, almost steal that away. The Suns from Hui also come raining down, but just you can time it through those abilities. Neither of those abilities have a ton of burst available to them, and with Zeus Detonate, that's going to do more than a Sun. It's going to do more than one tick of that Raijin ultimate as well. So Elexum doing his job there, securing the Gold Fury for his team.
Well done. 3-3 of the kills as we're approaching lucky number 7 on the clock. And the lead, as I said, in Excel's hands was previously about 1,000 even. Dips down a little bit, but again, surges right back up as Excel go ahead and clear out their own jungle.
You can see the experience difference right around 2,000, and you can really only see that in the solo lane and in the support role, each with a level, but it's actually Welshbeastq who has the extra level on Jeron right now, really trying to get towards that mid to late game where Hui can start to outshine the Anhur. Once Anhur gets 2 items online, I'm assuming he'll go for the Ichabal. That'll be really good for him. That'll be the height of his boxing potential up against Hui most likely. But after that, Hui with that mark, getting the extra damage is going to be a little bit too much to deal with.
Right, that's really the part where Hui will sort of walk in the other direction. Because right now, the Anhur certainly has the edge as far as their individual prowess is concerned.
Yeah, once you get like 13, 14, you get that mark of the Golden Crow maxed out. No longer giving you free penetration whenever you max it out, but it is still giving you extra damage based on the missing health of the target, plus setting up the stuns and the slow off of the suns as well. So once we see Hu-Yi get 3 or 4 more levels and he maxes out that second ability, it's going to really up his ability to box on her.
So here, Welshbeastq, we saw his performance before in the 3-match set that we saw earlier on versus the challenger team. How did you like Welshbeastq there? Were you impressed?
I mean, the Xbalanque gameplay in game 1, he was the one carrying the team. He was top of the player damage charts. He did really, really well. Did a good job of keeping himself alive when he knew he was going to be the focus of the solo laners. Couldn't quite decide on his build. At one point, you know, he didn't have Fatalis, and he sells it, sells some stuff to get Fatalis and Deathbringer, and then decides, oh, I need Executioner instead of Fatalis. So not quite as decisive as you might want your Hunter player to be as far as the build path goes, but overall, I mean, you can't complain whenever you look at the player damage that he was pumping out.
I, for one, like Fatalis.
I know you do.
I'm a Fatalis fan.
I know. That's why you and Transonics are boys. It has nothing to do with the fact that Transonics is from New York.
No, absolutely not. You know, there's a lot of New York players in Pro Smite.
Really? I haven't heard anything about any New York players. Please, can you list some for me?
There's an incredible amount. When it comes to the SCL, actually, my argument is a little bit dead on arrival. But on the PC side of things, there are many, many New Yorkers.
I had no idea. Tom, are you from New York?
Yes, I am, believe it or not.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Did you ever go see, like, the Statue of Liberty? Did you ever go to Long Island? I hear that place is pretty cool.
Yes, I hail from Long Island. I've been to the Statue of Liberty.
No way. I had
Ellis
no
Island as well.
idea. If I had to guess, I would have said you were from, like, Nevada.
Don't say. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, Vegas is cool. I've been there once. One time, we were going on a trip to Columbus, Ohio for MLG Columbus. That's where we met, actually.
It was.
It was the very first time we ever met, Aggro and I. And I missed my flight. No, my mistake. We were off to San Francisco. But in any event, I missed my flight, and they sent me to Las Vegas, and I had to stay there for 6 hours, and it was not a bad time. I thought about missing my next flight, but Teresa, the office manager, made sure that I didn't do that again.
So is that the only time you've been to Vegas?
Yes.
Does that count as being to Vegas? That's an interesting debate. Like, if you're at a city's airport, have you been to that city? Like, I've been in Detroit's airport, but I've never actually seen Detroit.
I mean, I gambled. That counts, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay, that does count.
XL trying to gamble here in the mid lane, looking for the push. 3 players grouped up. Not going to take the bait, though. His excellence. Zeus certainly had the ultimate available, looking for a little bit of aggression as XL goes into the enemy jungle. Trying to sniff out a little bit of a buff. The speed buff is on the ground, and Farleez is in the sky, misses the ultimate, not going to find the knockup, but Mango Man, not so sweet this time, jumps away, but the follow-up is there as well. Down comes the totem, but the transformation out of the dragon stops all of the aggression.
Mr. Turtle still going for it, but Auzrik actually body blocks the stun for his solo laner. Lurking in the waters, going to do a decent amount of damage to the enemy team, but everyone's going to be able to disengage. And that's classic Auzrik. You know, looking back at his time on his other team, his player damage wasn't always where you wanted it to be. His engages probably weren't top tier, but he's always on point with buff invades. He's always putting himself ahead. It's just a matter of him learning how to use that lead that he can gain himself through his intelligent buff invade playstyle to really make an impact on the team fights. But you can see right now, he's level 12, whereas you see Farleez at level 11, and it's actually Auzrik setting up about 500 gold.
For me, though, I mean, Excellence just kind of dropped the ball right there. I'm looking at Mr. Turtle. He comes over to the right side of the map, but doesn't really go into the lane. He stays in the jungle. He puts out that late transformation. So, again, he's in the right side, but not on the right lane. You know, it's almost like he's just in the airport of the right lane and not the right lane itself.
Yeah, he's actually never been to that lane. He's just been in the airport of that lane.
Yeah, exactly. He gets a little shout out. He understands a little bit of what the right lane is, but he doesn't actually get to influence the fight. It looks like he does. He shows up, but right when the kill is is right there in reach, Mango Man's there. He transforms into the dragon. I question the ultimate timing, but in any event, XL wind up getting out. Here comes the turnaround gank. There's Raijin onto the Sobek, but Sobek already serves up the target. Raijin able to turn around and Elexum from a distance gets him with the detonate. That's the 4th kill for XL.
Perfect setup there by CobbY.
Nice
Great
catch.
Cage is going to catch Farleez, but he is going to be able to get up into the tree just in time. Gold Fury getting low here. Sun's coming down. Are they going to be able to secure it over top? They will. Second Gold Fury, the game goes to XL. Huge damage coming out of that bird bomb. But Mango's not going to be able to catch the Hunter.
See, that's Odin. That's one of Odin's issues, is that he has the bird bomb,
And that's it.
That's it. Like,
The
full
end.
stop.
He's
That's
got,
all
the,
he has.
he's got the cage, too.
You know what would have been excellent for this Odin, and I'm half joking, but actually relatively serious, is a Sunder. If you went the Blink and Sunder, the PBM special, right there, that's a dead hunter.
Sure, but he needs to teleport. I mean, we saw how important it was to him in the early game there. He and both Predators needing those teleports to stay in lane up against the boxing fights they're putting with each other. I feel like the Blink Sunder would have been better served on Auzrik here.
Auzrik?
If you want someone to go Blink Sunder, and I know PBM does, it would have been really, really strong because you want to get Sunder on a character that can set up for their own Sunder.
Sure.
Not everyone has the nutty mechanics of the Envy support to just hit the Sunder by itself. So Fear No Evil guarantees your Sunder and then means your abilities and auto attacks after that Sunder are doing extra damage.
I want to ask you, how valuable do you think the purification is on the Monkey right now? The hard CC on Excellence isn't exactly, abundant.
No, it does help up against the pin. The pin knockup combination, I think, is the reason that you're seeing the purification come out of Auzrik, because getting pinned for, over a second and a half directly into a knockup means that you're CC'd for 2 seconds straight if you don't have purification, and that can obviously cause a big problem for a squishy character like Batz. But outside of that, I mean, yes, the knockup and the stun coming out of Farleez, the taunts coming out of the Taiko drums, though you can Sanctuary in between those shots if you time it correctly. So I think I would have rather seen Sanctuary overall, but I understand the purification pickup.
Yeah, I too think the Sanctuary might have been a little bit more valuable, but right now, I mean, he's 2-1-2, can't complain too much. A little bit of a slow on Predators, but Predators successfully walks in, doesn't actually steal the blue buff, but he's able to walk in and start some problems. Here comes the jungler, Farleez misses, and that's not that big of a deal for the Anhur.
This is more farm that he's taking away from Welshbeastq, though. You can see Welshbeastq sitting down about 700 gold. This is 2 waves in a row that we've seen Farleez on this left-hand side. He is able to take away the boars from Jeron, though, which is important.
And here comes a mild rotation. Might dial it up to hot, depending on the hard commit. There's a flip for Welshbeastq. Doesn't have the jump until now. Purification is used. The Anhur has to jump away as he sees the Fafnir and a couple of other players filter into this left side lane. 2 players on the right side of the solo, but everyone else here looking towards the lane, and they all walk away.
I like the pressure being put out by the duo lane. We talked about it earlier, the kill potential that you have, not only early on, but right now at 15 minutes. It's Jeron really pressing the lead that he has in that duo lane with the help of Sobek rotating in. Really, you can really take advantage of the slow cast time of who he's jumped. It may look and sound like he's getting up into the air, but until he reaches the apex, he's still on the ground. So you can see he starts to get up in the air, gets plucked back, starts to get up into the air, impaled into the wall, and then the purification is forced. So now this opens up the window for Auzrik in particular. You could see CobbY come back over, and they could make a play with that purification down, but really I'm looking at this Batz. How can he come over and really take advantage of this purification being down?
Yeah, because like I said, his job wasn't really to be the hard ganker in the early game. That was really up to the duo lane to sort of exert that dominance. And we saw Auzrik make a couple of plays, but really he's been the responder, and that's kind of his role here. But now as the game gets a little bit later into the mid game, 16 minutes specifically, I think he can be a little bit more proactive because more players on his team are capable of exerting the damage that he needs to help him find the kill.
I would definitely agree with that. You see the Hydra's Lament is a huge reason why we're seeing a lot of Batz again in the jungle. Getting that extra damage on your auto attacks after you use an ability synergizes so well with Batz's passive, which gives you crit chance on your next auto attack after you use an ability. And if you roll correctly, if you're Tommen at the Vegas airport and you roll good, you can get a huge crit number early on with that extra damage coming in on that auto attack.
I didn't win too much in the Vegas airport for what it's worth.
I just assumed that you did well.
I won on a machine that was a slot machine based on dogs wearing hats.
Of course. I mean, did you stand up and yell, "That's a good dog," whenever you won?
You can see it on my Instagram. It's like Fernando the Chihuahua. It was a mess, man. It was an interesting time.
I'll tell you what. If I was building let's say you, I know where your spot is that you like to hang out here in Atlanta. I've got a lot of cash. I make a little tiny casino that has nothing but dogs around it. You would just spend your entire paycheck of gems on it every week.
I mean, sure.
You're an easy mark.
Right here, I'm sort of a fan of this, but I'm sort of not. There's a little bit of an invade going on here for the blue buff, and that was the goal of Excel. But at the same time, I think Predators was killable right there. So
it's a possibility, yes, but with the Gold Fury up, I don't think Auzrik wanted to commit heavily onto the solo laner.
Okay, that's a good call.
As it was spawning, you see they do the blue buff invade, and then it's, oh, well, Gold Fury's up. We need it back as soon as possible and get there. You actually see Mango Man still running towards his right-hand side. He does have his teleport available, and he just wants to keep Predators there. But I don't know if I like the decision because it really should be Predators trying to keep Mango Man there. Mango Man's level 18. The amount of damage he's going to be able to put out with that Bird Bomb onto a guy like 50-meter Fly at this stage in the game is going to be very, very difficult for Excellence to deal with.
So Predator's going to head back to base. You can see him preparing for what he wants to do next. I'm curious as to where he's going to teleport to. He does have the Phantom online. He's had it for about 5 levels now, so he'll be able to deal with the Odin cage a little bit better. Less for him and more for the team, I would say.
Also for him, I mean, if he gets trapped in that Odin cage and then Zeus ult comes down, no matter how tanky he is, he's going to fall. You really needed this Phantom pickup here. I like the decision from Mango Man to continue to proxy farm. I would like to see him just go past this tier 2 tower right now and keep on going. There's no reason to let this minion wave get to where it is. Just walk right through, use the Raven Shield, tank it up, and then destroy it before it even gets close to your side of the lane.
Yeah, that's what he's going to do over here, Mango Man, just continuing the proxy farm. And you know what? I like the build coming out from the Erlang Shen. It's tanky, sure, but it's hybrid tanky. Both the Witchblade and the Winged Blade are going to be able to give him a little bit of offensive boon as well, and that should help him out. Sure, the Bulwark is going to be straight tank up, but those two items are both offensive and defensive. They're nice hybrid selections, which is exactly where I think Erlang Shen fits.
I agree with you. I really like the build overall. The Bulwark going to help him a lot up against the burst damage from Zeus. If you get low enough for him to want to press 3 and kill you, that shield's going to pop up and it's going to make Elexum a little bit frustrated, I'm sure. Like I said, the Witchblade early on, you see a lot of times in the solo lane, it's to box the other auto attack heavy solo laner. You'll see it up against Robin, Osiris, Erlang Shen himself. Characters like that really rely on auto attacks to deal the majority of their poke damage to you. But it wasn't Predators trying to trade out with Mango Man. He was really just waiting until he could come into team fights and make this impact with the Witchblade because it's going to do so well up against Jeron, Auzrik, Mango Man as well. Even Elexum needs to be using auto attacks to apply stacks of his passive if he's playing it correctly.
And at the end of the day, the Witchblade also just provides a little bit of defensive boon, regardless of the passive, so that'll help out as well. Gold Fury being aggressed onto 2 Gold Furies, make that 3. Excel has secured a 3rd, and they're going to continue. Here comes the fight. Auzrik with a perfect peel out of the ultimate, and down from the sky comes Ratatoskr. Trouble for the mid lane, and Elexum falls down.
And now the rest of Excellence is still going in. Auzrik forced to jump away. Jeron trying to defend this tier 1 tower from the onslaught of Excellence. Why is Jeron so far forward?
He got a little aggressive and he got punished for it. Just Jeron in the wrong spot finds his first death of the game.
And now Mango Man kind of following suit, looking for a big cage, but he's just walking around in the middle of everyone. You got the cage, great, but you're dead.
So this is, textbook Smite, and then we sort of, flip the pages a little bit. When Team A gets the Gold Fury, Team B sort of deserves the Tier 1 tower because the initiation team on the objective has used all of their available tools, whether it be relics, whether it be ultimates, etc. Everything gets blown to the Gold Fury, so the team retreats, and then the team that watches the Gold Fury go down goes, all right, well, we'll get our consolation prize, 500 gold by way of a mid-tier 1 tower. That's textbook Smite at this point, similar to right side power and right side presence leading to a Gold Fury. Here, this is Excel sort of misunderstanding that tier 1 tower is supposed to go down. They invest a little bit too much in the defense of that tower that, like I said, is supposed to go down. And because of that, whether it's Jeron out of position or just trying to defend it in the wrong ways alongside his solo lane Odin, they bite off more than they can chew. They fall down, and then all of a sudden there's nobody protecting the tier 2 tower, which is not textbook.
Exactly. So you're right on there. With that tier 1 tower is dead. Let it go. Anytime you're using Zeus ultimate and lurking in the waters at the same time to secure the Gold Fury with this particular composition, your team fight is shot. Your team fight is now over. Even with Fear No Evil, because every purification was up on the side of Excellence, there's no way you're winning that team fight without the Zeus ultimate or the Sobek ultimate. So you're backing up already. Secondly, Elexum runs the wrong way. Like you mentioned, that tier 1 tower is given away. That's the trade. You know, you're proposing trade with Excellence. It's we get Gold Fury, you get our tier 1 tower. But Elexum still thinks it's his and runs to it. But Zeus, that's the other teams now. They're taking that, and you cannot run that way. The rest of the team understands that. They run backwards. They run towards the red buff, where it's more difficult for the whole of Excellence to chase them down.
Yeah.
Instead, Elexum goes the wrong way by himself. He needs both relics and Fear No Evil just to keep him alive for a little bit, but it doesn't matter in the end. He falls, and the team fight just gets worse from there.
Either way, Excel still putting things in their column. 2,000 gold in the lead, despite a silly play in the mid lane. That Gold Fury, or rather the 3 Gold Furies this game, have certainly begun to add up. Excel now looking to be the aggressors this time around, pushing 4 players near the mid tower, now heading over towards the right side, going to get grouped up and ring in the Erlang Shen. He's knocked up. Here comes Auzrik, a little bit of help, but the ultimate at Jeron is good enough. Predators goes down. Very low is the monkey. He's going to find a way out until a basic can't confirm a Mr. Turtle on the chase, but unfortunately, Auzrik gets out.
I cannot believe Auzrik lived there. Still, Mr. Turtle wants to keep going aggressive. Jeron not scared to fight him, as we saw earlier. Farleez dashes in. Impale does miss, but a huge crit comes out of Jeron, picks up the jungler.
Yeah, he's got that early crit, the Wind Demon, already swinging. So that'll certainly make this one happen. Nice little triple bounce onto the Sobek, but he's just a little bit too tanky to make that big of an impact. Charge Prey will hit, but the Purification will let it go. One ring around the Welshbeastq. Nice impale. Where's the detonate? Not going to find it. Mr. Turtle finds Jeron, however. He gets punished for chasing the kill. Tier 2 tower will fall down. Jeron a little bit too aggressive one more time.
Big plays there coming out of Welshbeastq and his duo lane partner, Mr. Turtle, able to turn it around onto Jeron. And Jeron's job there is to kill the tower.
Yep.
You are the hunter, kill the tower. That's your job. Instead, tries to make the big play, jumping in onto Welshbeastq after he'd been zoned away from some good damage from the rest of the squad. The tier 2 tower does fall, but so does Jeron.
And he was playing solo lane on it right there, right? Your solo lane is supposed to go in deep and, you know, either almost get the kill or actually find the kill. It's less important when your solo laner is there, because if he doesn't get the kill, that's all right. He's still doing his job. When you're the Anhur jumping in there, well, if you don't get the kill, you're not doing your job. You're doing the opposite. Somebody else is taking the tower. So either way, it's a positive so far, and that's going to be a positive at the moment. 24-28 on the clock.
Jeron just he's doing his best Zapman impression right now. He's playing like Season 1 or Season 2 Zap. You know what I mean? He's trying to defend the Tier 1 tower by himself. He's dying for it. He's jumping in past the tower that it's his job to knock down, and he's dying for it. And it's been Welshbeastq on top of the damage charts right now, looking really, really strong on this Hu-Yi. Like you mentioned, we haven't seen him in a while. We haven't seen Hu-Yi really be played ever since his nerfs. But Welshbeastq looking very strong on this character.
Yeah, I mean, he looked strong last match as well. You mentioned the Xbalanque play in game 1 of the last set. Certainly was a nice look. So at the moment, Zeus is sitting at about 3,000 player damage. It's 24 minutes, and we always talk about how Zeus is, you know, he's not supposed to do early game damage necessarily. He's about the late game, but, you know, it's 24, 25 minutes almost now. When do we let that argument go away and just say Elexum's not doing work yet?
About 25 minutes ago.
Yeah.
For me, I think Zeus does not get nearly enough credit for his early pressure that he brings, both in the jungle, in the lane, tons of kill potential early on. For me, I don't think of Zeus as an early game or a late game god. I think of him as an early to mid mostly. I mean,
really?
Yeah, the detonate's going to do great in the late game,
oh, hey,
but
bud.
You usually die by then.
Well, Welshbeastq just died. So did the tier 1 tower on the left side. Excel's still going to push it down.
Yeah, so Zeus really just brings you so much early pressure in your 2v2 fights in middle, your 3v3 fight, like kind of core fights, that Elexum needs to be doing more at this stage.
Almost a turtle going to get impaled into the pillar. Well played by Jeron this time around. Teleport comes into the tower, and Ratatoskr up to the sky. Going to initiate on somebody, but he'll likely be all by himself. He notices that, and he heads out for the defensive ultimate.
Gold Fury up again. Excel licking their chops. They want 4 on the board. They're tied in kills, but those 3 Gold Furies that they've gotten earlier have really been a big reason of why you can see this 5,000 gold lead for them.
Right now, how do they push that 5,000 gold lead is a different story. Right now, they'll push it to 7. And now Excel, this is one of the problems that we see a lot of the lower end teams have, is that they don't know how to play with a lead. And with this 7,000 gold lead that Excel have, I'd like to see them just make a hard call that Excellence has to respond to. If the Fire Giant is it, this is fine. Oh, just getting bursted down. There it goes. Fire Giant goes the way of Excel, and they're going to retreat. And I'm fine with this retreat right here, but playing with the lead, like I said, not many retreats are in this schedule right now. Excel needs to just push.
But anytime you use Lightning Storm and Fear No Evil, that's when Retreat pops up on your screen.
Exactly.
I love the call to do the Fire Giant. The rest of Excellence were just a little bit too slow to step up. They knew that the ultimate from Ratatoskr was down, so there wasn't a whole lot of worry for him to come crashing in and steal it. And like you mentioned, not a lot of teams on this lower end of the spectrum know how to push their leads effectively, but that time it's Excel identifying that they have an opening and taking it. I mean, you can see throughout the player damage, it's really been Excellence who's been doing more player damage in all of these fights, mostly Welshbeastq, but the mid laner is doing more damage for Excellence than Elexum. You see the jungler is a little bit higher for Excel, but overall, the higher player damage numbers as a whole are better for Excellence, but Excel is just winning the objective game. 4 Gold Furies and a Fire Giant, and they've only got 2 towers left on the map.
And that's, you know, when it comes down to it, Aggro, I think that I would like to see a game that's, you know, 50 kills to 50 kills. I think that's fun to watch. But at the end of the day, if I'm a coach, if I'm on a team, this is the type of gameplay that I think is exciting to at least be involved in, because objective-based gameplay is all of a sudden you're in the lead. All of a sudden, you're taking the game. And right now, that's how it has to feel if you're Excellence, because you're sitting there going, we're winning these team fights. What's going on? But we're behind.
So when I was a player, you know, you've got your good games, you've got your bad games, you've got some of your great games. And the great games aren't where you win like 31-4.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, we crushed them. But the real games where you feel like you dominate another team is when you win, you know, 11-2. And there's really not that many kills in a long game, but you just play the objective better.
Exactly, and you know, Excel, they're playing their lead right now. Excellent's going to try and play defense onto the tower, and this is exactly what Excel have to do. They've already chased out 2 of the ultimates. That's the taunt out of the Erlang Shen and the ultimate out of Farleez as well, which is lower impact, I would say, but that knock-up's certainly a big deal.
I mean, it's one of the main ways that Excellence could have turned a team fight. Mango Man jumping in, gets the cage. Sun's raining down onto Jeron, but Farleez is in a ton of trouble in the back line.
He's under half HP and 50mm fly. He's going to get chased down by Auzrik, not making it to the fountain this time. Double kill. He's going bananas.
And now Welshbeastq has to turn around and try and deal with him. Can't do so. Phoenix still alive. Jeron picks up Turtle on the front side, but that's 3 dead. They are a little bit low. You see Excel being a little bit low right now. They could back up and just look to take another Phoenix, but it looks like they may want to go for the end here.
Yeah, and I think they need to wait for the minions, and just with the 3 players down, that's why I say game. I mean, this is the team fight, and with Welshbeastq falling down, Auzrik absolutely making the play. 6, 1, and 4 on the jungler. Excel gonna bark this Phoenix down, low or not, it don't matter. That's how you play with a lead.
11-7, Excel take the first game of this best of 3 set up against their rivals. I mean, they played against each other in SPL or SCL. They've got similar names. They've got to have a rivalry, right? Like, man, if you're on Excel, I'm like, man, I hate Excellence. What a dumb name they have.
Just because.
Yeah, exactly. That was our name first.
Just because.
But it's actually, it was Excellence's name first, for the record. It was Excel who kind of jumped on board. But so obviously Excel setting the pace that they want to here. First game, they only need 1 more win to qualify for LAN. And for me, that was really Auzrik having a really solid game on that Hun Batz. I mentioned earlier that previously in the split, we've seen him do a great job with buff invades, but didn't really translate that lead very well. Not the case that game. He was the one setting the pace, invading the speed buffs, you know, doing what he can, trying to peel for his team with Fear No Evil, and then at the very end, going ham deep into the Titan room, cutting off the fountain from 2 players.
That's what it was for me. I mean, Auzrik had a, let's say, lukewarm game, right? It was not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination, but I wasn't like, damn, look at that Auzrik go, until that last fight, just making it happen when it matters, just showing up, getting the double kill. And like I said, that double kill, that allowed the game, that really allowed the game to be won. He got the double kill in the back line, deep in the front line, and then right on the defensive end, Erlang Shen cleaned up 1. And with 3 players down, that right there, so the 3 players down, sure, you can just walk into the Titan room, but with the 3 players down that means that 5 players can collapse on 2, you put another player in the ground, and then 1 player isn't defending a Titan no matter who you are.
Exactly. If he lets 50-meter fly and Farleez get into the fountain there, that means they have to back up after that Phoenix push. They don't get to push down the left Phoenix. pick off Welshbeastq, and then get the F6 victory from there. So like you mentioned, just going off in the final team fight. Who cares about your other team fights before that? If you win the last team fight for your team, you did your job.
Exactly. I mean, you know, quarterback memory and all that. Forget about the first 24 minutes of the game. It's about what happens towards the end. Game number 2.